Is the Bitcoin crash coming soon? Well, that's what we got to talk about in today's video because there's a lot of information showing that we should be having a pullback coming soon here inside of Bitcoin. And this pullback could be a little bit stronger than a lot of people think. And also, a lot of people think that Bitcoin is going to become bullish. But I'm going to explain in this video why maybe Bitcoin can be bullish for temporarily, but ultimately we still need to have a pullback, and that pullback could be seen as a crash by others. So that's what we're going to be going over today. Remember to hit that like button and subscribe. I'm not a financial advisor, not in financial advice, but let's get straight to it. So let's go ahead and look at the charts here for a minute. So this is very tricky because for the longest time Bitcoin has been inside of an uptrend, and that was since the beginning of January. Now, it was a new year. Typically, whenever there's a new year, we always have new growth. You know, people are like, new year, new me. I'm going to invest in Bitcoin. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. That's exactly what happened. We've seen Bitcoin went crazy. Literally, the 1st of January was the start of this bull market. Like, it was not bullish until the 1st of January. And just to kind of show you that perspective here, we really were not bullish until the 1st of January. Boom, 1st of January comes, and then now people just want to start buying a bunch of Bitcoin because, you know, new year, new me. You already know that whole saying. And that's exactly what people did. People just kept buying and buying and buying. But now things are slowing down. Now that people are seeing the economy isn't as strong as they once thought it was. And that really started here inside of April. The fact that we peaked over here inside of April 12th, somewhere around there we peaked. And then we peaked again at 31K over here in July. The fact that we did that but weren't able to get past that twice shows that this is probably the start of that bullish movement. And also, look, we were in an uptrend for the longest time. That was a straight uptrend right there. But watch how now we've broken down below that uptrend line. Now that we've broken down below it, this is a key indicator pretty much that now the momentum is going to start going downwards. And now these momentum wave bands on this technical indicator chart prime that I'm using, link in the description, these technical indicators are pretty much showing now that it's on a downtrend, we're going to start seeing it dropping down below support levels as well. So look at how this momentum wave band is now curving sharply downwards here. It went up very temporarily, but then immediately down. And see how we had that little pump here inside of Bitcoin, like just recently, actually the 29th of August, it was a pump, but then was immediately met by a dump. That pretty much shows that we are on the downtrend. We could not get back above that uptrend line. Notice how it stopped right as it hit that uptrend line, right? It stopped right as we hit the uptrend line. So this is a key indicator that we are about to continue to drop here. Now, looking at the momentum wave bands here for Bitcoin, we see that we're also about to hit the support line over here at 25K flat. Now you can also see that these lines here are also now facing towards the same support line. Now we see the momentum wave band is starting to drop below the support line. So this is pretty much showing us that we're going to have another drop here in Bitcoin. Now, will it be followed by a temporary increase in price? Maybe, because if you look at the RSI, you're actually seeing that it's about to take an increase right here, and it's probably going to be very temporary. Notice how the RSI is rising and then it just crosses downwards. It could easily cross right back up and then increase. It did the same thing over here. It did the same thing right back over here. Did the same thing over here. It just crossed and then immediately had that increase. So I think the RSI could probably do something similar where it may go down just a little bit and then it'll cross back and possibly even go back up to 27K. I mentioned this in my previous video. It could go up to 27K, but it does not mean that it won't be rejected there. So that's a very important thing to look at here. And when you're looking at that, you also want to go ahead and think about what would happen next after that. So really, if you look at this, we would go down to 25K, right? And then if it breaks 25K, almost immediately after that, we could see 20K Bitcoin. And that's actually pretty important to look at. If we go ahead and hit this 25K, if we cannot stay above 25K, then what comes next? 20K support comes next. And I've been mentioning this for a while, and I don't know if people have been listening, but 20K Bitcoin comes immediately after 25K. So if we break 25K, we're going to hit 20K. And really, if you look back here on the 10th of March, that's a key support here. That was a very strong support for Bitcoin. So that's an area that you definitely want to watch out for. Now, you can also see like 25K or 20 to 25K. Like, these are very critical points. We've had 20K as a critical resistance area before, and we've had 25K as a critical resistance area before. So you can see here 20K was pretty critical, and if you look back here, 25K was also pretty critical. So those are really critical supports and resistance. And also you can see back here, it was critical for us to use this as our support, 30K. So 30K is also a critical area. If we were to have a bullish area here, then we would get rejected again at 30K like we've been doing the whole time. So that's also a very critical area. But right now we're looking more towards the supports. We know we're probably going to end up breaking this 25K, going down to this 20K support. Now the bad thing is, if we break 20K support, yes, and I know a lot of people are probably looking like that's impossible. Like, no, it's definitely possible. If we break 20K support, then that 15K is after that. I believe 15K is the true bottom, and we've already kind of hit that bottom before, so that's why I'm not too worried about 15K. Like, we can hit 15K. I'm not saying that we can't hit 15K. It's 100% possible that we can hit 15K, but we've already kind of bottomed out at 15.8K. Well, 15.6K. It didn't quite get all the way down to 15K flat, but it hit 15.6K. It hit the momentum wave bands, and then it increased right after that. And that's why I'm saying it's very important to watch the momentum wave bands here. And remember, I'm using the chart prime indicators. If you want to go ahead and check that out, the link is inside of the description, so you can go ahead and check that out if you want. But if you look at these momentum wave bands, typically when we hit them, we have an increase when we hit the support momentum wave bands. So these green ones on the bottom, we hit that, we had our increase, right? But now we're pulling back down to the bottom. But look, we briefly hit it down here. It's possible that we could hit it again, but after that, that's why I'm saying we can get this temporary increase. But don't be tricked by this. This is like a bullish fake out here. Don't be tricked, because it could become bullish again, because we've hit that momentum wave band. It could become bullish again, and it could rise. But if it does, remember, this momentum wave band up here on the resistance side is still curving downwards. So if we still hit it, yes, we could go ahead and hit an increase here, but it will probably be followed by an immediate drop inside of price here for Bitcoin. And that's why I'm saying 27K is possible. Yes, it's possible for us to hit 27K, but do not get tricked by that. We are not on an uptrend line. Look at how the uptrend line was all the way from here, from about 15K all the way up until here, and then it just stops. And now we're below it, and we had a hard time trying to get back above it. So unless we can get back above this uptrend line, which means we have to break 28K. We have to get past 28.5K, and then above that, continue to rise to 30K to actually become bullish again. So you should remember that. Now, we can look at all that, but then when you look at the 1 week chart, this is also very, very, very telling. If you look at the 1 week chart, this is the most telling indicator that we're probably going to have a drop here. If you actually look over here at the RSI, it looks like it's about to rise, right? It looks like it's about to cross again. It's about to rise. But the problem here with this RSI is that when it does cross and it has a rise, it's probably going to immediately be met by a drop in price. And this has happened a lot before. You know, it's hit it back here, crossed, but then still continued to go down. It's hit it back here, it's crossed, and then it continued to go down from there. The same back here, it's hit it, it's crossed, continued to go back down. So the same thing can be happening again with the RSI. And still, if you look at this, if we break this 20K support, look, if it crosses and goes up, it'll probably go up to, like I said, 27, 28K. And then from there, we could go back down here to this level here. And this is why it's showing these dotted lines going down, because that is where we're more likely to go, which is 20K. Notice how this line here is now curving downwards. That's because when we start going down, it's going to start heading towards that 20K support. And they already have it set out in stone here, the 20K support. So 20K support is probably going to be coming soon. I'm going to be saying I told you so. I've been using these to trade for a while now, and this is a very, very good indicator. Watch my previous live streams. We turned $442 into $2,400 on the live stream, and then I did some off of it. But it probably doesn't look like much. But I mean, it was still good because all of the trades were positive. If you watch those live streams that I did, every single trade was positive. Every single trade we made money. It was about 100 trades. We missed on none of those trades. All of them were positive. We made money on about 100 trades, right? And they were using these same indicators. And that's why I'm talking about it, because the same indicators, and this was one of the biggest indicators here. The fact that it shows it going all the way down here to the support, that pretty much shows this is where we're going to stop at. If we go down, that's where we're going to stop at, and then we're going to have that increase in price. But then another one of those can be thrown up when we get down here, leading down to 15K. Right now, 15K support is not confirmed that we're going to go down to 15K, but it is confirmed that we're going down to 20K. Like I said, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Take it how you want it. But hey, that's how I see it. That's how I see it's going. But moving on from there, looking at some other things here for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is doing all right. It's like a sideways movement right now, only up 0.1% in the last 24 hours. Not too bad, down 6.1% in the last 7 days. Now, FX Street, they've actually predicted that Bitcoin is going down to about 24.9K. I do believe we're going to go down in 24.9K. I'll show you what that looks like here on the 4-hour chart. So, like I said, I believe it's going down to all the way down to 20K here. Now, they're just looking at it from the short-term perspective. So I'm not just saying it's going to go to 20K immediately. Like, this could happen within weeks or months, right? But it's going to happen. It's got to happen. Now, what we're seeing here with the 24.5K that they're mentioning, that's pretty much right below this this resistance or this support line that we have. So that's pretty important, because if we hit that, we're probably going to see that increase temporarily. And then once it gets over here, then boom, and then that's when we're going to have that drop again. So like I said, if we hit that area, it's still going to suffer a drop here inside of Bitcoin. So you want to prepare for that. So yeah, definitely prepare for it. Now, what they're saying here is Bitcoin has fallen back to its long-standing range-bound movement, coiling up around the 25.8K level. Two outcomes are likely after such a move: a break north or south. Currently, the odds favor the downside, like I've been saying. Yeah, that's definitely true. And Bitcoin could draw near to the 24.9K support level and extend the losses to the psychological 24K level. So they're saying it's that 24K level is psychological. It definitely is. If we go down to 24K, that's when our momentum wave bands are going to start curving downwards even more. And that's when we're going to see a sharper move to the downside here for Bitcoin. So that's a very important level that you should definitely watch out for as well. So you'll want to pay attention to all of these levels. But like I said, it's very possible that this can happen sooner rather than later. We've already had our increases. And that's why I love these indicators. Because look, just like I was showing with the 1 week chart, it showed that it was going to be bullish with this dotted line over here. And what happened? It was bullish, and then it actually hit the resistance that we were talking about. But then it got rejected from there and it went down. And now what is happening? The literal same thing is happening, but on the downside when you look at it on the 1 week chart. And it's funny how this right here is showing that we are projected to get back down here to 20K. This is the 1 hour chart here. So it's showing that we're projected still to get down to that 20K support. So regardless, Bitcoin is going down to that 20K support. And just to show you that 1 week chart again, like look at that dotted line there. Look at that dotted line. It's showing that we are getting all the way down here to the support level of 20K. Definitely check out the link in the description for these indicators. This is for Chart Prime. Very, very good indicators. So also, you want to pay attention to some other things here. So you can see this outlook draws inspiration from the relative strength index, RSI, currently declining, to show falling momentum similarly to the histogram bars of the oscillator flash red to suggest a presence of bears in the market. Now, they're saying in the dire case, Bitcoin price could dip into the demand zone between 21K to 20.1K. That's what I'm saying. Like 21K is coming soon. If you look at the RSI, you can see that 20K is on the horizon. We're about to have another decrease here. Yes, we can have a temporary increase that could bring us up to like 27K, but it's not going to defeat the fact that we're going to go down to 20K. It's definitely an area that you want to watch out for here when it comes to Bitcoin. So yeah, definitely pay attention to that, because that could come soon. Now, there is a possible move to the upside, like I've been saying, 28K to 27K. There's a possible move to the upside. But if we break 28K and we continue to go, and we go past 28K to 29K, we go past 29K to 31K, then that pretty much means that we're confirming our bullish market trend. So there's always that possibility that we can break that resistance and go up, and then that'll break that downtrend, and then it'll be inside of an uptrend from there. But we have to get above the uptrend line. We see that this trend line is bullish. This is a bullish trend line. So if we can get back above it, then yeah, we can be bullish again, if we can get back above it. Now, moving on from there, even CoinDesk is saying here that Bitcoin is nearing another low here. So yeah, Bitcoin plumbs 6-month low near 25K. and higher prices in oil suggest a further pressure downwards. So this is also pretty important to remember because, they rejected some things here in the SEC, but let's go ahead and go over that. So the price of Bitcoin emerged from the long Labor Day weekend in the red, the price falling nearly 1% over the past 24 hours to 25.7K. It was 1 week ago at this time that Bitcoin surged to above 28K on Grayscale's court victory in the suit against the SEC over that agency's rejection of converting the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to a spot Bitcoin ETF. So we're also seeing that if Bitcoin is going to be going down in 25K, it's probably going to be because overall macro markets, what's going on there. And they're talking about this, and they're talking about how the oils can increase. So if that happens, they're saying Bitcoin is going to be going down. They're saying in separate announcements on Monday morning, Saudi Arabia and Russia surprised markets, each saying they would extend oil production cuts for another 3 months until December. If they're cutting oil, that's going to increase the prices. So the news sent the price of WTI crude oil up by more than 1% to $86.74. So if this happens, we're probably going to end up seeing Bitcoin go down as well. Now the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is also coming out for the US on the 13th, and this is going to measure inflation here. So markets will get their next official read on US inflation on September 13th when the government releases its Consumer Price Index report on for August. So this is going to be pretty big. And like I said, if they go ahead and have some bad report, like it's showing heavy inflation like it's always been doing, and they've already hinted that, he's been hinting at it for so long. Jerome Powell has been hinting like it's not going as good as we thought it was going to go. So it's going to look bad. So if that happens, we're still going to see the drop inside of Bitcoin price, and that's probably what's going to cause it to drop even more. Remember, September 13th. So you got to pay attention to that day. Anyways, this is all I got for you all today. Go ahead and hit the like button and subscribe. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section, and check out the links in the description if you want these automated trading indicators for Chart Prime. Check them out. They're very, very good. And as always, I'll be back with another video.